What happened?
I don't know. All right. There it is. Mm. Mm.
And hello, everybody.
Well, hi out there in Rumble Land. Just a minute here.
Brief explanation. The song you just heard was written by a guy that we mentioned last episode by the name of
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Yes.
He
Tell us about Chris.
is, he's actually Polish, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're going to make him join in another episode, but long story short, he's always been a history buff and especially into military history and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He stumbled across a picture of one of the missing fire team, and it sent him down the rabbit hole of what happened in Vietnam and what happened to the fire team.
Yeah.
And for researching this on his own and trying to sift through fact from fiction, I gotta admit, he actually did a pretty good job of figuring it out.
Yeah. With I'd never heard before till Blood in the Mud came out, so I
And
thought he
like I
did a
said,
pretty good job.
you sent me the link to this song at like 1 o'clock in the morning after I
Okay.
had gotten back from Koh Tang, or well, Cambodia, Koh Tang,
Yeah.
and I left a comment on the video,
Mm-hmm.
and he and I just kind of started talking.
Yeah. Well, I sent. We've been exchanging emails. I did get in touch with him, and he seems like a real nice gentleman. So I wish him all the best, and he's absolutely welcome to come on this cast with you and I, as the flowers are in May. So that's an open invitation. We'll tell you how
That's
that's
gonna be
done soon enough.
Oh, we're gonna do that, but that's I'm warning you now. That's gonna be chaos.
All right. I'll just turn my camera off and just turn it over to you guys. Go with it. No, I'm kidding. We're looking forward to Chris being on the show with us, so that's our invitation here.
And
Folks, yeah, go ahead, honey.
the reason why we just say Chris
Uh-huh.
is because his name is actually about that freaking long,
Well,
and neither myself nor Larry can actually pronounce it correctly. So we just shortened it to Chris, and
he
that's what
went
it's
with
gonna
it.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's
that's a good
totally
one.
fine with it.
Well, again, we'll look for Chris here. We're going to start into our discussion again, folks. I'm going to give a little bit of a disclaimer when we start, as we talk about a few things from a Gold Star family member's point of view, something that's never been done and is long overdue. The warning is this can and is a trigger, a stressor that can cause reactions within PTSD. So please make sure that you're in your safe place. And we hope that you enjoy it with us, but we want to make sure that you understand that a lot of what you're going to hear is going to make you pretty angry. And I'm not giving anything away yet. I'll leave that to my young co-host here, and she'll be talking about that as well. But Folks, we want to welcome all of you, all one of you, whoever you are. I'd sure like to see a two will get up on there. But anyway, I get a lot of views afterwards, so I'm glad of that. But this is Danielle Evans Jones, and she is the adopted goddaughter of the vets Koh Tang and Mayaguez, at least us that love her to death. She's been with us now for about 20 years. Is that about how long it's been? 15 years?
For some of you, 20 years.
Yeah.
Some of you I didn't get to know until about 6 years ago when we did the bridge dedication.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, we'd been friends long before that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but from Danielle's point of view, is what the message is going to be about. And know that Danielle loves us with a heart that's just as big as Texas. So all she's telling you is the truth. And you can look at it or take it however that you wish. That's your choice. And the great thing about being America, we are creatures of choice. You can take it or you can just scrape it off your feet as bullshit if you want to. That's your choice. But the story's still going to be heard. And the truth is still going to be told. So, with that, baby girl, go ahead.
Well, what do you want to know?
Let's start with the first notification that Daniel was MIA. Where am I at?
Do what?
I'm sorry, go ahead, honey. I had a spasm.
That was done by telegram. They didn't even send anybody in person to tell Grandma.
Okay.
They sent her a telegram.
Just sent her a telegram. And then what was the next mode of contact that you had?
To be fair,
yeah,
I have everything.
Okay.
I don't think they ever actually sent anybody to talk to my grandmother in person.
Okay.
In these files, there is copies of every telegram and every letter ever sent to my grandmother.
Okay.
There's no mention of anybody ever going to actually talk to her in person.
All right. I understand.
My mom never mentioned anybody showing up at their house. So, imagine that you get a telegram notifying you that your 18-year-old son that just joined the military is missing, and nobody knows where he's at. Put yourself in her shoes for a few minutes. Larry kind of had a small request. Oh, that was luck.
What'd you do?
Huh?
What'd you do?
Flipped it right to what you wanted me to share.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Like I said, that was freaking luck. Last episode, I did not sugarcoat or hide my dislike of Captain Stahl. I have right here a copy of a letter that he sent to my grandmother dated May 23rd, 1975. The fight was the 15th. So we're not even 10 days out yet from the fight. I'm going to read this and then we'll discuss how much of this letter is complete and total lies and bullshit.
Okay. Fair enough.
It says, Dear Mrs. Marshall, as you are now aware, your son, Danny G. Marshall, U.S. Marine, it gives us social and all that, U.S. Marine Corps, is presently being carried as missing in action. I realize that no amount of words will relieve the anxiety which you are now surely undergoing, not knowing the status of your son. However, I would like you to know that I, as his company commander, and each and every member of Company E, share with you this concern for Danny. On the morning of May 15, 1975, our unit was assigned a mission of landing by helicopter on Koh Tang Island, near the coast of Cambodia, for the purpose of conducting a search for the crew members of the captured freighter, the SS Mayaguez. Danny was a member of a machine gun team in the 3rd Platoon of Company E during this operation. From the outset of the engagement and during this operation, and throughout the period of extraction, Company E encountered heavy resistance. In the heat of the battle and under intense enemy fire during extraction, Danny's machine gun team became separated from the rest of the unit. In an effort to locate your son, I sent a search party forward of our lines. However, they were unsuccessful. I personally searched our flanks, and as we drew back towards the area of extraction, the entire area was combed, but we were again unsuccessful in finding your son. Considering the ongoing enemy action at the time, I am convinced that before the last helicopter departed the island, every effort was exhausted to locate your son. Danny is very well liked and respected by all of us at Company E. He proved himself to be a solid member of our team. I recognize this is a difficult time for you. You are assured that proper authorities are presently investigating the matter in order to determine Danny's status. If there is anything I may do for you, please do not hesitate to write me. Sincerely, Michael E. Stahl, Captain U.S. Marine Corps Commanding.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start picking this apart while I...
I want to start by saying that from what I've heard, and remember, I am an East Beach Marine, so this is my understanding. There was no search party sent. Okay, start with. He didn't do it personally. Mr. Stahl made haste and got himself off the island before the rest of the company did. So that's been stated. So you take that for what it's worth. But a fact is a fact. That's the way it is.
Okay. Like Larry said, I've talked to the guys that were on the island that day. East Beach and West Beach. Gulf and Echo companies. There was no search party actually sent. I think what he's referring to is a 19-year-old Marine that was told to watch a bush that was in line with the fire team at that time, although the 19-year-old Marine didn't know it, while Stahl hauled ass back down the beach to get on one of the first choppers the hell out of there. He didn't bother to go look for them because he knew where they were. He put them there. This is one person and the only person that was on the island that day that I genuinely would love to see face the consequences of his actions. Because he's lied to everybody. This whole letter he sent to my grandmother is nothing but a huge lie. She didn't know it then, not in 75. Nobody knew it until the advent of technology, social media. We actually got into contact with the other Marines that were on the island that day, with both Gulf and Echo companies. And I guess maybe I get to sit in a unique position. Because I've either got all these guys on Facebook, or I've got their personal house phone numbers or their personal cell phone numbers. I talk to them all the time. There's literally probably not a single day that goes by that I don't talk to at least one or two of the guys that were on the island that day. Mm-hmm. I have been known to sit for hours on the phone and just listen to these guys talk. Mm-hmm. Because you guys all heard Larry start getting a little upset last episode when he started talking about what the Marine Corps teaches them to believe. Interesting take from me. I can't stand the Marine Corps creed. Never leave a man behind. And these guys are why. Not only do you have the PTSD and everything they went through and saw both during the Vietnam War and Koh Tang itself, but these guys are taught to live and breathe and bleed and die for this damn creed of never leave a man behind. But yet, push come to shove on that island, when they had all been evac'd out and they were all on the Coral Sea and the Wilson, and it came out that those three had been left behind, every one of them was ready to stand up and go back and get them.
That's right.
And got told to stand down.
Yep.
That they were not allowed to go back and get them. There is not a one of these guys that survived and made it back that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, there's not a one of them that does not have what I would term survivor's guilt. Because they made it back and were ordered to leave those three there. Yeah. The amount of damage that stupid creed has done to these guys, I see it. Yes, I get it. It's supposed to make Marines feel like they're not alone and somebody's always going to have their back, which is great when it works. But when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Like it did in this situation.
How long had Danny been out of boot camp before Koh Tang?
He was at Paris Island for boot camp, and then he went out to Pendleton.
Yeah.
For special training.
Yeah.
He actually got to come home for a short amount of time in between Paris Island and Pendleton.
Right.
But once he went to Pendleton, he left from Pendleton to go to Okinawa to get deployed to Koh Tang.
Koh Tang. So he hadn't been out long.
No.
Wow. Okay. That answered a question I've had on my mind for years. Just how
Yeah, he
many
was
of those kids were out of boot camp, fresh out of boot camp and ITT training, and then thrown into a combat situation?
Well, if this tells
Because
you anything, he was 18 years old in 2 months.
and 2 months, that tells you everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I put it like I did.
Yeah. So you've got
Well,
that
yeah,
letter. Your grandma's got that letter, and we pretty much shot that down, so to speak. Uh,
yeah, and then every year they started getting, well, here, something sort of similar to this, which is the most recent one.
okay.
Essentially, it's kind of like a year in review or a year in report. It's what they supposedly have done throughout the year to finding.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that you don't notice when you're just reading one new report a year, but when you actually sit down and try to tackle reading all of this at once, is you start to notice repeating stories. It's like those old unsolved mystery shows where
Yeah.
it's like the names and dates have been chosen or have been changed to protect the innocent. There's so many of the stories that are the exact same. They're just recycles. The person that is supposedly confessing this is different. Minor details are different, but overall, it's the same damn story.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
I wonder. No, I guess I shouldn't wonder. Shouldn't be surprised. That Michael Stahl has stayed off of the radar in this area of the world, at least where we're at, for the years they have. There's not a whole lot out there about him. I think you're the one. Somebody
Actually,
told me that.
it's not that surprising. All three of them are what could be considered East Coast.
Yeah.
Uncle Danny was from West Virginia. Gary Hall was either from Kentucky or
Kentucky.
Tennessee. Yeah,
Kentucky.
Kentucky. And then Hargrove
North
is one of the
Carolina.
Carolinas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, all three of them are all over here on the east side of the country.
Yeah.
So it's really no wonder he has stayed more Midwest and West Coast.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to take the chance of running into one of the three of them's family. And one of these days, I'm going to surprise the bastard.
Well, where do we go from here, Danielle? I mean, I don't. It ends up we can sit in them files probably and just about pick them just completely apart. Completely apart. And why would they send that much paperwork to you, or just to blind you with paperwork?
Larry, this is for 2025.
Mm-hmm. grief.
The files I held up earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that is literally everything. From the day he went missing to the newest one.
The newest one. And you get it every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be damned. Has any of them ever said anything?
That was actually true or of any real
Same,
use?
same old shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'll
And
leave
here's
that
the
at
other
that.
thing. Here's the other thing you run into.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about this when I was in Cambodia and on Koh Tang. Actually, I was talking about this with a reporter on a refurbished Vietnam War era boat on the Mekong River, of all places.
Ah, yes. Roy Day. I know who it is. Yes. Took a ride
Yeah,
on
it
the
was his
same
boat.
boat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his boat. And the reporter asked me about a story that's been floating around for years. That there had been radio contact between the missing gun team and one of the aircraft carriers.
Mm-hmm.
And for the life of me, I cannot remember whether it was supposed to be the Coral Sea, the Wilson, or the Hulk that was talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the three, but I don't remember which one it was supposed to have been.
Okay.
The story goes that it was radio contact. And the person that was on, they said that they were 3 Marines left on the island. And whoever was on the ship said, well, can you swim for the mainland? And the person they were talking to goes, well, I can, but the other 2 can't. And, a few other things. The main thing that even I myself have always poked holes in that theory or in that story with was, well, they didn't have a radio. But the thought was also always stuck in the back of my mind. That island was chaos that day.
Yep.
It would not be out of the realm of possibility for somebody that did have a radio to have dropped one.
Nope.
And that be how they got it. And we were talking, me and the reporter were talking about this, and he goes, yeah, but you'd have to get somebody to actually admit that they dropped a radio.
Yeah.
He's like, but you're probably right. If that did happen, they found one. I was talking to a Marine that was on the island that day that did have a radio. He got hit by the concussion of a grenade, thrown in the air, and lost his radio. Come to find out, and he didn't know it at the time, he was about 100 feet away from the missing fire team, from their foxhole when he got launched.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And I ain't saying names, but you know who it was.
Yeah. We don't want to mention any names, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So, if the radio contact is true, there's where the radio came from. And I'm gonna apologize. I'm going to apologize now. You guys are probably going to hear the scanner go off clear through this whole broadcast.
Yeah.
We've got massive rain coming down, and everything's flooded, and trees are coming down, and it's a mess.
Okay. All right. Hey,
Mother
whatever you
Nature at
have
her
to do.
finest.
That's all right. Stay safe above all. Stay safe.
I'm at
Well,
home halfway up a mountain. I'm good.
I guess, I'd have to ask. I think we had talked about that once before after uh, Danny's bridge dedication. That story had come up again.
During the bridge dedication, because it actually caused somebody to get up and walk out.
Yeah, we know that, but what we never did find out is where that information came from. That's probably why, that people are going to take it tongue in cheek.
From what I've been told, the story originated from the guy on the aircraft carrier that actually talked to them. Is where that originated.
Okay.
Who it was, I don't know. I don't think I ever did hear a name of who it was.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you ever will. But my point was, was for him to be mentioning that in that particular speech at the dedication just seemed kind of odd to me. And you know what happened as well as I do as part of that, but
Well, the thing of it was, is I know who mentioned it,
mm-hmm.
and believe it or not, he actually was part of that operation. He was a linguist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd heard
And,
something about him once before.
yeah, he was a
Yeah.
linguist. And when the SEALs were set to go back in, or
Uh-huh.
were supposed to go back in to go get them,
Uh-huh.
he was dressed and ready to go in with the SEALs to go get them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then everybody got told to stand down, and yeah, here we are almost 51 years later.
Still asking questions.
Uh-huh.
I don't. You know what, Danielle? We're probably gonna never know the entire truth, but the thing of it is, we are going to know we do know within reason, at least within the time frame of what did happen. As best as we're ever gonna know. I mean, I don't know. What else could we do?
For my 2 cents, and this is going to sound like me being rude, and I'm honestly not trying to
Mm-hmm.
be. The day we left Phnom Penh and went to that little seaside town that I cannot pronounce the name of to save my life.
Kompong Som?
No, kind of looks like Chinookville, and I know that's not right.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah, that is right. Chinookville, that's still Kompong Som too, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Um, they got us to the hotel. We offloaded our luggage into our rooms and then got back on the bus to do this tour. To everybody else, it would probably be something similar to a sightseeing tour. Me, it was pretty much torture.
Yeah.
um, I was hearing stories supposedly straight from M. Som himself that I had never heard before.
Yeah.
There is a book. that was written called A Novice Piece of Work. And I'm going to butcher the author's name, and I'm sorry, but it's Eisner Falsang.
Uh-huh.
He wrote that book. It's got the missing fire team in it as characters.
Mm-mm. I didn't even read it.
It's
You got
a
one up on me.
it's a blend of fact and fiction because
Yes.
no matter how much research you do into this, to write a book, do a movie, whatever the hell it is you're trying to do, at some point you're going to have to take creative license because actual factual information just stops. The minute that Echo and Golf Company pulled off that island, provable factual information just stops. And all you're left with is rumors and stories, and he said this and he said that. And they're buried here. No, they're buried here. You go look, there's nothing at either spot. So they were never there to begin with. So when you get to a certain point with it, you've kind of got to take creative license. Which is exactly what Eisner did. It's a very, very good blend of fact and fiction.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where if you don't know the actual facts of it, it will leave you sitting there going, okay, so how much of this is actual fact and how much of it,
It is fiction. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very well done.
That's the mark of a good author. I told him when he wrote it though, he was sending me transcripts back and forth with him. I said I just don't think my boys are going to be ready to hear anything like this because it is what you just said, a mixture of telling a factual story with fictional results. You know,
But what else are you going to do?
beats me.
Um, and he created an ending in that book for all
Yeah.
three of them.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I bring the book up while talking about that tour
Yeah.
is during that tour, I got taken to the places that Eisner talked about in the book.
Okay.
The temple where they were kept. There's,
Yeah.
I sent you pictures.
I think, yeah. Do you know where them pictures came from?
I
That,
took
that,
them.
oh, I'm talking about the one just back in 2000. Go ahead. Never mind.
No,
No, go
I
ahead.
sent you pictures that I took.
Yeah.
According to the stories there, supposedly Hargrave was killed on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Calmarouge fired a shot into the sand and it ricocheted up and hit him in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then something like a week later, Danny and Gary Hall were caught and sent to the mainland, where they were held at this temple.
Mm-hmm.
According to the story, they were held outside of this temple in cages.
Yes.
18-year-old boys being held outside of a Buddhist temple on mainland Cambodia being held in cages like animals? I'm not sure which one went first.
Mm-hmm.
Not far from the temple is what at that time was an open field. Now there is what was going to be a concrete building that was never finished, and it's
Yeah.
also crumbling, sitting on top of it, but that is supposedly where Uncle Danny's buried, according to IMSOM. Gary Hall was taken to another beach there on the mainland and repeatedly thrown into the ocean because his body kept washing back up ashore.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, they ended up weighing it down so it would sink and not wash back up. I honestly don't think we will ever find the remains of any of the three of them.
Doesn't seem hopeful, does it?
Well, if they really did throw Gary Hall into the ocean, there's
Yeah.
51 years later, there's nothing. Salt
Right.
water will dissolve bones. There's nothing.
Yeah. I think, and I'm going to agree with you on this and say that I believe what you're telling me, the version, that's pretty much verbatim the version that I believe what happened to it. Makes sense.
Do I
It,
think they met any kind of a decent end? No, I am not naive
no,
enough to think that.
yeah.
They their ending was grisly and horrific and
Mm, I think you just put it in words, grizzly. But I keep wanting to hold out hope, you know.
yeah.
I keep wanting to see that one grave. That I know the grave you're talking about. I know where it's at. If they'd
And
ever,
for the record, with the radio contact story,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I know who was on the radio by one thing that was said because I happen to know a little bit of history that's not exactly common knowledge.
mm-hmm. What's that?
I think the person on the radio was Danny.
Okay,
Can you swim to the mainland? Well, I can, but they can't. Little known fact about my Uncle Danny: for fun, he used to swim the Ohio River from the West Virginia side to the Marietta side, climb out, rest for a little bit, and then swim back.
okay,
He he could swim like a fish.
yeah. What? All right, I'm confused. I'll have to go back and do my homework. I thought they said Danny was. Didn't Stahl say Danny was an unqualified swimmer?
Haven't we already established that Skull is full of shit?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I've never seen in anything where he was an unqualified swimmer.
I don't know. I keep thinking I seen a letter that your mom had been sent or something, or your grandma had
I
been
haven't
sent.
seen it in any of this yet.
Okay, well, I'll
But
leave
like I
that till
said,
we get to inspect them. You know,
Uncle Danny used to swim the Ohio River for fun.
so he could swim. Isn't that interesting?
He could swim like a fish, which funnily enough, is another trait that I take after because I'm a complete water baby. I love playing in the
Okay.
water. I love swimming.
I was when I was younger. Not since I've gotten older. It actually should be in the pool. That's pretty healthy for you. Use all your
It would help
muscles
your
in the
back,
pool. Yeah.
but like I said, I happen to know that Uncle Danny could swim like a fish.
Hmm.
If any of them could have made it to mainland, it would have been him. Not that it would have done him any good, but
That would make sense. If I
and
have a little
here's the
problem.
thing.
Hmm.
Even though he could have made it, he wasn't gonna leave
Okay.
Hargrove or Hall there.
No.
Not if one or both were alive.
Yeah.
The only way he would have left is if they were both dead and he was still alive. That's the only way he would have left. As evidenced by the fact that everybody keeps saying that him and Hall got caught together and Hargrave was already gone by that point.
Well, the way we were initially, how were we initially told it? This stirs
Bring the
my
mic closer,
PTS.
Dad. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I said this kind of stirs up weird feelings inside of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The if we were initially told that Hargrove was caught first, and that he was ordered to lead them to the others, and at some
He
point he
basically
took off.
said, fuck off.
Yeah, and they shot him. Now the problem is there's also evidence that Hargrove was shot before the extraction was done. That's what we were told. That was back in 2000. So if that be the case, it would be Danny, because uh, Gary Hall couldn't swim, and Hargrove was probably a swimmer, but he can't swim if he's shot through the leg. So that may have been where.
I won't make any claims onto whether Hall or Hargrove could swim or not. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I think I do. I remember.
All I know is it's well known that just for fun, because he was bored
Yeah.
during warm weather, Uncle Danny would swim the freaking river. I don't think you could pay me enough money to try that now, but
Yeah, probably not. You a water baby too?
mm-hmm.
You go to the pool in the summertime?
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time I swum, it was Al Bailey's house when he had a pool, had an in-ground pool. It was fun as shit then, because we was drunk.
Yeah, just to clarify, anytime we have to talk about Stall, I'm gonna get pissed and rage just because.
I know you are. That's why I said I didn't want to dabble too much into him for you tonight, because that's not healthy. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to have you upset. Then you'll get one of your migraines, and you won't be able to get rid of it for 3 days. So that's all right too. But folks, if you're listening to this broadcast, and I know you are, all one of you.
Well, here's the other thing that people don't realize,
Yeah.
especially when and I don't know what it is about these three. you wouldn't think that being a Gold Star family member would really affect your day to day life much.
Mm-hmm.
But with these three, it's a whole different ballgame. My mom was stalked at one point. Our house was broken into when I was a kid. We'd come home to mysterious messages left on an answering machine,
Yeah.
weird songs left on an answering machine, notes taped to the door. I've had myself people dressed up as Marines in pieces, just pieces of about 3 different Marine Corps uniforms, knock on my door claiming they were looking for somebody. At one point, a set of dog tags and a wallet was found. One belonged to Hargrove and one belonged to Hall. Keep in mind, neither one of which belonged to Danny.
Yeah.
I woke up one morning to reporters camped out on my front yard. I spent 2 weeks trapped in my house and had no knowledge that JTFA was even back on Koh Tang looking for anything or that they had found the dog tags and wallets. We actually had to call at that time it was a female that was in charge of Uncle Danny's case at Quantico. And she's the one that told us about the dog tags and the wallet. Not because they were actually hiding anything from us, but because neither one of the items belonged to Danny. So why would
Yeah.
they tell us, except for the fact that I had been trapped in my house for 2 weeks by reporters calling my house nonstop? I had to unplug my phone. They were beating on the side of my house, beating on windows. I had to shut every curtain I had because, they're at all the windows. I can't get out the door. I couldn't do anything. She had to send military police to kick them off my yard.
Damn.
Um, every once in a while, like I've got friends that live in Waverly. They know me.
Mm-hmm.
They know all about my uncle. Every once in a while, somebody will get it up their ass to go run through Waverly, knocking on doors, going into businesses, claiming that they're looking for Danny Marshall's family. And everybody that knows me knows not to say shit. But they'll privately get a hold of me and say, hey, this
Yeah.
happened today. And it's just a scam. They're hoping to come across his elderly mother and scam her out of money. Or like the guy that called me trying to demand directions to the family cemetery, and I told him no. Or, Danny's headstone getting stolen. It's
Everybody wanted a piece of the story.
it's insane. The girl that every time I see her, she tries to come up with some new way of being related. I don't know why. Like, does she think it's some kind of social status?
Yeah, I think we talked about this
Like,
your last one. Yeah, that shit definitely happens. We have that trouble around reunion time.
it's like, you want to deal with the crazies? Be my guest. Trust me, they'll drive you up the wall.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, have I had the occasional kid, teenager, somebody in college get a hold of me because they're doing some kind of a report?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. But I've also had somebody call me claiming that they had already found all three of them's remains and were being held in Honolulu and were using their DNA to create super soldiers.
Oh, Lord.
Like, you would not believe the crazy phone calls I've gotten. And the sad part is my cell phone number is not listed. And the super soldiers dude somehow got my cell phone number. And I still to this day don't know how he did that. The other dude wanting directions, he called me on Facebook Messenger, which, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's both the good side and the bad side of social media.
Yeah.
You know, social media made it easier for all of us to get in contact with each other and stay in contact with each other, even though we're spread out all across the U.S.
It's got good points and it's got bad points. It's like anything else in life. You can misuse something, all right, and bring a world of criticism down on it, or you can use it like we do. We use it to communicate it, use it to talk. I just can't get up and go to Waverly, and you just can't get up and come to Springfield. You know,
Well,
that's what
technically
social
I
media
could, but
does it. Yeah, you know what I mean. But
I mean, come on. I got what, 7 weeks heads up? You're dropping everything and going to Cambodia for 2 weeks? Which, by the way,
that was classic.
my best friend now has me on Life 360
Oh yeah, what's
after
that
that
supposed
one.
to do for you? What's that?
She can track me.
Keep going. I gotta find a towel or something. I'm sweating.
She can track where I'm at every
Yeah.
minute of the day.
Oh my God.
She showed up here not too long ago telling me that even though it's not the exact time, it's getting close
Yeah.
enough to the time when I vanished to halfway around the world to Cambodia for 2 weeks. And she didn't like the fact that she didn't know where I was or if I was okay. And then she goes, hand over your phone. Of course, you know, she's pretty much like my unbiological twin sister. So I was like, what are you doing? And handed her my phone. She put Life 360 on my phone and she tracks me.
Yeah, my kids do that through Google Earth or something, whatever it is. They always know where I'm at.
Okay, but that's your kids.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't
This is my
mind
best friend tracking me
it.
because she didn't like the fact that I disappeared on her for 2 weeks last year.
She tell you I had good intentions. That's what I say. I had good intentions, but I forgot.
Oh, she laughed. She knew. Well, this was the thing. She knew I was going,
Yeah.
but she was wishing that she could like open an app on her phone and see exactly where I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. Yeah.
which probably would have been kind of cool because I was all over the place. You know, we went to Silk Island. We went to the prison and the killing fields.
Yeah.
I was at the markets. We went out on the boat. We went to Koh Tang, which, you know me and how I've always been a little bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I had both active duty and retired Marines worried I was going to go flying off the front of a speedboat.
Yeah.
When we got on the speedboat to go to the island, most of them picked to sit towards the back underneath the canopy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is me. I went up to the front of the boat. I lived on the river my whole life. I grew up on the river on boats.
Yeah.
I don't mind boats. Was I stupid enough to think that a boat on the river was going to be the same thing as a boat on the ocean? Absolutely not. I had no idea if I was going to get seasickness or not.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't. But I decided to push my luck and I went up and sat at the front of the boat.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm up there with a couple of retired Marines, a couple of active duty Marines stationed at Phnom Penh, and then, of course, the reporters were up there.
Yeah.
Well, we're flying across the ocean on this speedboat, and we start getting into rough water because we were heading into a storm. And of course, I'm at the front of the boat, so everything's just wham, wham. I'm not that big. So I start completely coming up off the seat. Like, I'm completely airborne. Yeah, I figured out real quick, hook my leg underneath the seat.
Yes.
And I'm like grabbing for the rail. I think every one of those guys at one point or another, or maybe multiple points, thought they were going to have to make a grab for me so I didn't get flying off the
damn boat. Yeah, you are too tiny.
But the funniest part was when we actually got to the storm and it opened up, and I mean, like I said, we're flying across the ocean, and it just starts downpouring on us. Within about 30 seconds, every one of us that was sitting up on the front of the boat, we were soaked. Clear through. All the rest of them are sitting there looking at each other and trying to wipe water off of them while it's still downpouring. Me? I just kind of throw my hands out, look up, and bust out laughing. Because I'm like, what do you mean? I'm in Cambodia, flying across the ocean, heading to Koh Tang. It's 112-degree heat. And we've got ice cold rain pouring down on us in the middle of the ocean. The situation struck me as funny. Like, the absurdity of it all.
Yeah. How many people though had the chance that you did? How did I get that,
huh? There wasn't many of us.
Oh.
And part of that was my fault. Because everybody knew that I didn't want to be hounded by press. That I don't like reporters. I don't like press. I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to deal with them. I didn't want to be interviewed. They all knew it. So it wasn't exactly as big of a publicized event as they initially wanted, because it was supposed to just be a few of us without active duty Marines and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then once it got out that I was going, it just kind of kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. No.
And there you are right in the middle of it.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
There's only one reporter that got to talk to me out of all of them that were there.
Yeah.
And that was only because I was doing a favor for that I was with.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's good.
And to be fair, that guy actually didn't, do what normal reporters do.
Well.
He actually kept his quotes on me accurate to what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a welcome relief.
Who do you write for?
Asian Times is where it was. But don't go looking at it, because after we visited where Danny's supposed to be buried, every single flippin' shutterbug there caught a picture of me.
Oh, sure.
That tour was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it all hit me at once, and I literally hit the ground ugly crying. Yeah. And of course, every flippin' shutterbug there was snapping pictures of it.
Well.
And
good for you.
The thing of it was, is I didn't have the heart to tell them no on publishing it,
Mm-hmm.
because their whole point there was to
Seeing
create
your
a decent
reaction.
and getting a decent story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is all going to be like over in Asia, so odds are not many people that actually know me are going to see this. So
I didn't know about it. You didn't tell me.
I can send you the article.
Well, you can send it when you get a chance. It's all right. I don't want to put you in a bad spot. But yeah, I want to read it. Anyway.
But
Well, this has been cool. I just sit back and relax and talk and get somebody's perspective. Every time I talk to somebody, I learn a little something new every day.
well, coming from somebody that's grown up with this mess, you kind of you get breadcrumbs from the military.
Yeah.
And for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to say the military, because the specific group that does this,
Mm-hmm.
their acronym changes so much you can't keep up with it.
Okay.
It used to be JTFA, now it's what is it now?
I don't know.
DPAA.
D is in doggy.
Yes.
Okay.
P is in
Never heard of
person, A is in Adam, A is in Adam. DPAA.
Hmm.
Same organization, they just changed their name. And they seem to do that every couple of years. Um, but like I said, it's kind of funny. You don't notice the recycled stories or any of that
Yeah.
until you actually sit down to read it all back to back to back to back to back. That's when you notice it.
It's like a great big jigsaw puzzle. There are pieces over here. There are pieces over there. Never did like puzzles though.
But I'm not sure if I ever finished my thought when I was talking about the Eisner Falsang book and with the tour.
Okay.
The endings that he came up with for those three in that book are probably the closest we're going to get to what actually happened.
Yeah.
And yes, I realize he took creative license and made it up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's probably the closest to the truth that I've heard yet.
Well, like I said, I learned something new. I wouldn't read the book. I just didn't relate, and I didn't read the book. But now you've got me curious. I believe I will read it.
Well, I think you'll be okay reading it as long as you remember
Mm-hmm.
that there are certain points that he does kind of have to take creative license with,
Okay.
because there's gaps in information or no information at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he made it clear it was a fictional book from the outset. So,
Well, and here's the other thing. Mom worked with him.
what do you mean? Oh, to write the
He
book?
to
Yeah.
get Danny's character correct for Danny.
Okay.
I mean, literally, he tried to be as accurate as he could possibly be. But even you have to admit, Larry, and you lived this, there are gaps in information.
Yes. And they're big enough
You
that
know,
they're big enough that no one will be held accountable. and it'll be big enough that a lot of we're going to end up leaving it to just speculation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it'll be. Gaps in information is a good way to put it.
And love it or hate it, for my 2 cents, Eisner did the best he could with the information available,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the time he wrote the book. That book's been out for several years now.
Yes. It wasn't well received by the Marines. It was not well received at all.
But there again, look at the difference between me and you. I'm sitting here praising the book that was not received very well by the Marines,
Mm-hmm.
yet the one book that was received well by you guys, I can't stand and would
Which
love to
one's
burn every
that?
freaking copy of.
Wetterham?
Yes,
Oh.
I refuse to admit that man even existed.
Well, that's kind of what makes us who we are.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. You know what though? Let me be honest about this. Be straight up. My mind is open a lot more to pain than it used to be. See, these kind of discussions cause me a lot of. They do, and that's why I give a
Mm-hmm.
disclaimer, because I know what they can do to you. But also at the same time, just being able to sit and bump gums with somebody, and you get to talk about it and get it out there, well, that's pretty good therapy. There's a lot of healing, folks. There's a lot of healing in just pure, simple communication. And part of that problem is we've forgotten how to communicate anymore. I'll get you a text back then. You may will follow that up with an email. We've got socialized, so to speak.
Well, it's just like the other day. I was asking you a question about the helicopters that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the knife helicopters going in, Jolly Greens, when you guys were coming back out.
Right.
And I was asking you which one a particular pilot was flying because I couldn't remember.
Yeah. See, but that's what I'm trying. I guess what I'm trying to promote here is I'll get a lot of criticism for just even speaking the words Koh Tang by uh, some of my brothers, but I still believe that there's stories that still need to be heard. Just like you, people that just this is what the government gave you. That's what it was, and you never made a comment past that point. People are, you deserve to be able to tell that story.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be people that think, well, she was never military. She's just a dumb little blonde. What the hell does she know?
Mm-hmm.
More than you think.
Yeah, quite a bit. You grew up with it, honey.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up with it, so.
Am I jaded and sarcastic? Yes. But you guys have no idea the number of absolute batshit crazies I've had to deal with.
Um,
It and I'm not talking about you, Larry.
I know, honey.
I'll get a crazy ass phone call and call you just blowing up about it because it drives me nuts. I'm talking to general viewers. You guys have no idea the amount of crazy I have to deal with. Do I regret having to deal with it? No, I don't, because Uncle Danny's story deserves to be told. And it's not just Uncle Danny's story.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you can't really separate the gun team out into the 3 individual people that it was.
Yeah.
They went into battle together, they fought together, and they vanished together.
Yeah.
And they literally have vanished without a trace. It's insane. How? And Koh Tang Island is not even very big. It's less than 5 miles.
Yep.
The whole
Pretty
thing.
much at all.
So it leaves you sitting here going, how the hell do 3 full-grown adults
Mm-hmm.
completely vanish off of what that day was a very busy island
Mm-hmm.
without a trace and nobody seeing anything? I mean, like we said last time, you guys got there to a surprise of what, 300 Khmer Rouge on that island?
Yep.
Waiting for you?
Yep. Because intelligence missed the fact that Vietnam was fixing to invade the country. And they
That was not
reported public.
intelligence. That was not intelligence you guys had.
Yeah.
They told you were up against farmers and fishermen with a few weapons.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
300 guerrilla warfare trained Khmer Rouge.
Battle hardened,
That
already tested.
that was not even intelligence. That was just laziness and stupidity, to be quite honest.
Well,
But yeah, let's send 2nd Battalion 9th Marines that is 99% completely green Marines and some of them not even out of training yet into an island with 300 Khmer Rouge guerrilla warfare
yeah.
trained soldiers.
You know, I asked that question for a particular reason because, um, you know, over on the East Beach, there was a time during the day that we had to make a decision. There was going to be a swift boat going to come in and pick up, I don't know, maybe half of us, but the other half had to stay. We were already wildly outnumbered and that kind of thing. You know, we knew we would get overrun. And 10th Sister stayed, and he asked for another volunteer, and Staff Sergeant stayed, and he looked at me and said, Larry, said, you got to stay. And all I could do was just give a thumbs up, you know. And I looked over. I said, boys, we've been through hell today, but please don't make me pick you. I'll never forget his name, Louis Ybarra. His hand went up real slow, and then one by one, all the way down that line, they raised their hands. I didn't have to pick one person to stay on the island with us if the swift boat would have got them off. And these kids, the reason I asked you that question, I always knew that there was no orientation time for them from the time that they left Pendleton to go to Okinawa. And they hadn't been in the field because I was there. They hadn't been in the field a week and a half. So you're looking at somebody that's 6 to 8 weeks out of boot camp, if that much. You know what I mean? 6 to 8 weeks, and here they are in a combat situation. But that's what makes me proud about this country. That's part of what makes me so proud about this country is those kids knew that if they stayed, they were going to die. There comes a particular feeling or an acceptance, for lack of a better way, that you're going to, well, I'm going to die. And if I'm going to die, I'm taking one of these bastards with me. That's just kind of the way you talk about it, you know. But to think of that, these kids 18 years old, 90% of them, to come from that environment and to be put into a combat situation, while it was extremely unfair, They make you proud. It made me very proud for what I did at least accomplish while I was in the military. That was the proudest moment of my life.
Well, I'll tell you what, even today,
Hmm.
our military confuses other countries. And let me explain why I say that. Okay? With our country, you can sign up to go to the military at age 18.
Hmm.
It's completely voluntary. Voluntary? Voluntary.
Voluntary.
Other countries, and I'm going to use South Korea as an example here,
Hmm.
they have mandatory military service, but it's different. You have to have enlisted by the time you're 28. And
Okay.
it's like 18 to 22 months is all it is. But look at some of the K-pop idols. And I bring this up for a specific reason. They don't get special treatment. It doesn't matter how big they are. If they're a guy, they have to go for their military service. I was watching I don't remember if it was a TikTok or an Instagram or a YouTube video. It was something. And one of the K-pop idols who will turn 28 this year
Hmm.
got a message. It was during some kind of a fan meeting. And being respectful, the person messaging him, because the person that was messaging the K-pop idol was younger than the K-pop idol,
Yeah.
called him Oppa, which is kind of like uncle, or it's acknowledging somebody older than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, I have to go. He's like, I got to go into the military. Do you have any advice? The reaction of that K-pop idol trying to connect being called Opa with somebody going into the military,
Yeah.
he couldn't figure it out because there you're in your late 20s when you go, versus here you can go at 18.
And most do go at 18.
Mm-hmm. But over there they don't. They
Huh.
don't actually consider them adults or fully grown adults until they hit like 23, 24.
Okay. Well, I guess that's their prerogative. It seems to me you're losing 2 years, at least 2 years, uh, if not more than that, of the strength of the human body.
Well, like I said, what got me about it was watching the K-pop idol struggling,
Mm-hmm.
trying to connect it in his brain of the same person, both calling him Opa and talking about going into the military.
Yeah.
I sent that to a friend of mine and I was like, huh, wonder if that's an American,
Uh,
like an 18-year-old going in.
yeah. All right, honey. Dad's tired again. Had a
I am
long
tired.
run. You are too.
I tried to take a nap today and that didn't work.
I didn't have that opportunity today.
Oh, really? Because when I told you earlier today that I was going to try to take a nap in between everything else I had to do today,
Yeah.
that way I could intelligently do this podcast tonight, you were like,
Yes.
hey, sounds like a good idea. I'm going to too. Yeah, that
Okay.
never happened for me.
No, it never happened for me either, so we're even.
I laid down, and no sooner did I get laid down than I got a phone call.
I don't. I put my CPAP machine on. I don't hear the phone.
Well, in my room, my phone sits right by my head.
Oh. So we're gonna do
Especially if
Jack the
I'm.
Ripper next week. What do you think?
That's up to you. You're running
Let's
this
take
show,
a
not
break.
me.
Yeah, let's do Jack the Ripper. That turned. We did that first podcast was pretty good, so we'll have to polish up
Yeah,
through the week here.
except it never got uploaded because everything went wrong trying to upload
That
it.
kind of stupid. Well, we ain't got to worry about that no more. Our work is saved just as quick as we're done with it. So that's the thing about it. So listen, folks, we're going to get out of here, and you want to listen to something really cool? Come on back to Veterans Affairs for next week, and we'll talk about something that's not even about veterans. We're talking about Jack the Ripper. I don't know. Maybe he was a veteran. How do I know? I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. Nobody knows who it was.
So it's
And
it's a great
there's
podcast.
well, and I'll even spoil it a little bit. There's a new theory that Jack the Ripper actually could have been an American.
Oh boy, you got that to look
Mhm.
forward to.
Mhm.
So I'll get in my cheap digs. Remember to follow us Saturday with Empty Pockets podcast from James, where we talk about strictly about Veterans Affairs. We're on the third part of a 5-part series, Camp Lejeune's contaminated water. So got that to look forward to. We'll advertise for that. We've got a lot of good things working in the pike, so stay checked in with us. All right. Make sure that you watch us and send us a like if you want to. We don't need your money to keep your money in your pocket, but you can push that thumbs up button for me.
Yeah,
I'll give you the last word.
we don't need or want your money, like he said. We don't need the gifts. We don't need any of that. Just hit the like button and share to your friends if you think they'd be interested in. Like
Get a little
Larry said in the
positive
last one,
thinking.
he and I are nothing but normal, average, everyday people.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, I tend to know a lot more about the Vietnam War than a lot of people do.
Yeah. I haven't
Um,
figured out if that's a good or bad thing yet.
Also, as you guys saw in the last video when he started playing a documentary video, my
Mm-hmm.
subtitles are always on. So when I hear something that is so far wrong, it's hilarious. Even if I don't say anything, you're going to see it on my face or the way I react. Because anymore, I don't watch documentaries or anything about Koh Tang because, quite frankly, I get so aggravated, I want to start throwing stuff. And I think part of that is I've seen it for so long, I'm tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I sit down and read everything in these files, which is probably 1.5 to 2 feet thick by this point. So I know what the military has to say. I know what you guys can all find online for research. But the thing of it is that a lot of people don't take into account this guy right here beside of me. He was actually there that day. He knows what happened, at least to a point. And I'll spoil something else that's going to come up in a future podcast on Koh Tang. When they dropped the daisy cutter, which, for anybody that doesn't know what a daisy cutter is, it's a Moab, mother of all bombs. They just changed the name. Same thing. When they dropped the daisy cutter, the guys on the ground didn't even know it was a daisy cutter. They thought it was a supply crate. Until the big kaboom, the hill turning black, and shit raining from everywhere at them. Because that thing wasn't just tossing debris at the Khmer Rouge. Those guys were having to duck for cover too. That thing detonated and it sent up a huge mushroom cloud. Matter of fact, the song that Larry played at the beginning of this, Blood in the Mud, it's got, as part of the video, it's got the actual battle footage from Koh Tang.
Yeah, and the daisy cutter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the daisy cutter's in there. You see the daisy cutter drop and you see it explode.
Yeah.
You see a helicopter get shot down.
Yeah, I was on one of them.
We don't really want to turn the podcast graphic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you guys need to understand what these guys went through. They had seasoned soldiers firing at them from the tree line. And not just with regular military weapons. These guys also had the equivalent of surface-to-air missiles and rocket launchers. I mean, coming in on those helicopters, these guys were sitting ducks.
Yes, we were.
It was complete and total chaos. And then they dropped the daisy cutter without ever telling the guys on the ground they were dropping the daisy cutter. Literally, I have spent hours on the phone with these guys. And the one thing that I keep hearing about that daisy cutter is that they thought it was a supply crate that missed. And that they were going to have to fight their way to the supply crate until it went kaboom.
Yeah, it went kaboom.
You know, when I was on the island, I walked up the hill the daisy cutter hit. It was an accident. Our translator took a wrong turn. We weren't actually supposed to go up that hill. But walking up that hill, and I didn't put it together that I was on that hill until the Blood in the Mud video came out and I saw it. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. I was on that hill. That's when I connected the dots. But that hill, there's still patches that's just black. Because the jungle hasn't fully reclaimed that hill yet. And the whole top of that hill is gone.
It will
someday. It's just a flat spot on top of that hill. They've got a couple monuments up there now. I think they've even got I think one of them is even an old machine gun.
Oh, the old anti-aircraft gun. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if it's anti-aircraft, if it's a machine gun, and if it is a machine gun, I can't tell you if it's Cambodian or if it was one of ours. Oh, I don't know. I didn't actually get up to the top of the hill to see it because the group sent. This was funny. Ironic, funny. Take your pick here. 50 years to the day that my uncle disappeared, I'm standing on Koh Tang Island, walking in his footsteps, and our translator takes a wrong turn. Well, everybody that was where they were supposed to be is freaking out, and they sent Cambodian military to go find us. Now, mind you, this is not Khmer Rouge. This was the actual Cambodian military, because Koh Tang Island is a Cambodian military base at this point in time. You can't just go out there on your own. You can't just come up on the island and go play. So we're walking up this hill, and next thing you know, there's two Cambodian military guys on motorcycles. One is parked in front of Dad that I went with, and one is sitting in front of me. They're speaking Khmer, so of course we don't understand a damn thing they're saying. And we're looking at the translator like, what is going on? And then the translator busts out laughing and informs us that he took a wrong turn and they're wanting us to get on the bikes with him. So 50 years to the day later, not only is Danny's niece standing on that island, but she's getting on the back of a motorcycle with a Cambodian soldier to go down a concrete path on a hill, take a left turn through what ended up being a tractor path with tractor ruts in it, to break through the trees to get to an open field that was just in front of East Beach. I don't know if you want to call that funny, ironic, poetic, whatever. But 50 years to the day later, there's another Danny Marshall standing on that island. Wow. Only this time getting along with the military force that's on the island. Wow. And actually laughing and having fun.
They told us for years that, well, them countries, they've been at war their whole cotton picking life, so for them, war is just another inconvenience, I guess. But other than that, they just forget it. They love that American dollar now. I tell you what, they'd rather have it than their own money.
Oh, yeah. And what was funny is apparently the guy that I rode with, apparently I impressed him. He didn't think I'd know anything about riding a motorcycle. But I hopped on the back of that bike, and instead of like bear hugging him like he thought I was going to, I just kind of barely set my hands on his side. I was like, okay. And he was telling the translator when we got to where we were supposed to be, he's like, I didn't even know she was back there. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before.
Gail Rogers will tell you a story. I don't like motorcycles, and I never have, and I never will.
Is this about the tuk-tuks?
I've always had a philosophy that I would not sit on any seat that was 1/3 more narrow than what my ass was. Well, we've come back from Chinookville and was headed back up to Phnom Penh and was fixing to make dinner plans, whatever the case may be. And they talked, we got to ride scooters from the hotel to the...
Wait a minute, is this the flat tires one that...
No flat tires.
Curtis keeps telling me about?
That wasn't me. But anyway, I got back. I said, I ain't getting on that fucking thing. I ain't doing it. Well, Gail Rogers, having the warped sense of humor that he always had, decided that I was, in fact, going to ride one of these scooters. There was no cab within a mile of me. They made sure that the only transportation I had was on the back of that thing. Now, naturally, I would have to get the guy that's the John Wayne of motorcycles, okay? This kid is running in between inside of cars and shitting up on doors and crap. I could piss on the door.
He's not the John Wayne. That's just how they drive over there.
God. I got him back on the floor. I said, I'm going to kill him. I'll kill him. I'll kill him.
I got videos of when me and Dad that I went with were in a tuk-tuk coming back from the Russian market.
Yeah.
I actually have videos of traffic. It's entertaining.
Okay. Well,
I've showed them to a couple of my friends here, and they're like, how is everybody not dead? Because, I mean, the name of the game is just cut as many people off as you can and weave through traffic like you're NASCAR.
When you got stuff, I sucked half the seat up my ass trying to get through.
And they've got like 4 and 5 people on those things anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Shit, they
What's
haul
the
lumber, they haul furniture. It makes no difference.
groceries?
5, 6 of them on there at one time.
Now, here's the question. Are you
What?
going to tell the viewers about the joke that Clark pulled on you?
Which one?
The shirt that he sent me.
The
Yeah,
what?
I got
The
sucked into
total.
this one unknowingly.
Oh. No, you tell it.
Yeah,
Tell it. Tell it.
I um as Larry has said before, we're definitely used to people claiming that they want to do a story or a documentary or whatever when it comes to the fire team. A guy had gotten a hold of me and my mom wanting to do a documentary, but he was coming at it from a completely different angle. It wasn't just solely because of the missing fire team. He was looking into Vietnam War MIAs from West Virginia, which Danny qualifies for. And she had set certain requirements, I guess is a good way to put it, um, before participation from us in this documentary. And her requirements were that he had to get through Task Force 4, which is Larry, Gail, Curtis, and Clark. Well, by the time my mom's requirements were met, unfortunately, my mom had passed away, which left it up to me. Well, he wanted to interview me for this documentary. So Clark and some of the guys got together and decided that they were going to mail me some stuff to wear. The Mayaguez shirt I had on for the last podcast was one of them. Mm-hmm. I've got a hat that says Koh Tang Vet that I was sent. And also in this box was a shirt that's kind of like it's a motorcycle with an extra attachment on the back of it that's got two seats facing each other. And that is what they call a tuk-tuk over in Cambodia. Mm-hmm. And that's actually kind of the primary mode of transportation over there. They're everywhere. And I pulled the shirt out of the box, and I'm like, this has got to be an inside joke I'm not aware of. So I called Clark, and the box showed up the day of the interview. And Larry was coming down to go to the interview with me because, you know, they were not going to let me go deal with this dude all by myself. Yeah. So Larry comes down. I meet him where we're supposed to do the interview, where I was supposed to do the interview at. And I was fairly sneaky because this guy, like, idolized Task Force 4 but had no idea who they were. And I knew Larry was going to be there, but I never told the dude doing the documentary exactly who Larry was. We get there, and I introduced him, and he goes, I don't mind him being here, I just don't exactly know who he is. And finally, while we were standing there, I looked at him, I was like, you know how you're obsessed with, like, Task Force 4? He goes, yeah. And I just kind of pointed at Larry's back. I was like, there's one of them. So then Larry ends up getting interviewed for this. We get back to my house, and I pull this shirt out because, you know, Clark had told me to show it to Larry and ask Larry about it. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. As soon as I pulled that shirt out, Larry busts out laughing. And that's when I get told the story about Task Force 4 being in Cambodia and having to run around on those scooters. So, yes, even though I'm the adopted daughter, I get drug into the middle of inside jokes where I have no idea what's going on.
These guys have some warped sense of humor, too.
Yeah, but the thing of it is it doesn't bother me because I grew up with my mom. I grew up with this mess. My mom was an EMT. I was an EMT. I ran on a fire department because where my mom just did a volunteer squad, it was just the squad.
Yeah.
I was attached to a squad, but it was out of a volunteer fire department. So every time the fire trucks rolled, so did the squad.
Right.
So I've seen a vast majority of stuff that most people don't want to see.
No, you
And
don't.
I'll put it like that.
Yeah. All right.
Um, but you kind of develop a warped, twisted sense of humor as a
Yeah, it's
coping mechanism.
evolved. Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism to protect your brain from the stuff you've seen.
Yeah.
You know, military people get it, doctors get it, nurses get it, first responders get it, cops get it. We all get a little dark and twisty.
Just a bit. Just a
You
bit.
know, there's some stuff that we laugh at that most people would look at us like the other people do look at us like we've
Just
lost
like
our
we're
minds.
crazy. Yeah, for the most part. That's okay. That's okay. We don't mind.
That's like I can sit here and laugh about some of the stuff that with Uncle Danny. Well, because you've got two options: laugh or cry. And what good is crying about it gonna do? It's not gonna
No.
change anything.
Either one. Not going to change anything.
No, but laughing helps you get through it a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Feel a little bit better about it. Yep, you do.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of here, young lady. Put Daddy to bed. What did we do? We did 1 hour and 53 minutes and 34 seconds. You did a half hour longer you did the last time. You're getting better.
Ask me questions and I'll answer them.
Yeah, hey, you
I
got it.
don't know what you I don't know what you want from me.
Well, I want Jack the Ripper next time we talk.
We're gonna have to actually sit down and plan that one out. There's a
That's what I
lot
said.
to unpack.
Well, it'll be about a week before we do our next podcast, so we got time to get ready.
Because there's a lot to unpack with Jack the Ripper.
It is, hey folks, it's not. It is still fascinating stuff. Some of the theories, and Danielle has her own theories, and I just love to sit back and listen to it. So you will enjoy it, I promise you. So say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, everybody. Leave
Hey,
us a comment, leave us a like. If you have a particular question, ask it. Either Larry or myself will answer when we see it.
sure will.
Um, and if there's one or the other of us that you would rather have answer your question, go ahead and put that in the comment too. You're not going to
Oh
offend
yeah,
either one of us.
either one of us. That's a fact. That's a fact, folks. You, we're fortunate, Danielle, because they don't show up during the live, but when we post the video, we got, I think, 35 hits on the last one we done, something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So there
Well,
you go
one of them
about
was
that.
Chris. One of them
Chris,
was
yeah,
Chris. He
okay,
watched it. Yeah, I
okay,
sent it to him, and I'm going to send him this one.
all right, all right. Love you, baby girl. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too, Dad.